Hi, welcome back, it's Susan. Today I've made this card and this is how I've made it. I've used this stamp set, which is Gina K Sensational Sunflowers, and I'm just going to use the focal image. I've got some hot pressed watercolour cardstock and I'm going to do the no line colouring today. It's easy. I'm only learning how to do it, so if I can do it, so can you. So grab a drink. It's just a very slow, chilled out, half an hour. I'm using distress ink to stamp this image out in antique linen, just so that I can see the image. As you can see, it's very faint, but just so that I can see where I'm going to put the watercolour pens. I'm getting all my equipment. I've got a sponge, I've got a container with some water and my brushes, some kitchen towel to lean on. And I'm using Arteza real brush pens, and these are water soluble ink. So just going around the outline. Every time I've dipped my brush into the water, I dab it onto the sponge. I don't want it dripping wet. I don't want puddles. Just enough moisture to blend those pens. So just going round. Not needing much of those inks at all. So if you fancied having a go at watercolouring, doing it this method is so easy. And I keep saying, I'm not an artist, I'm just a crafter, just like everyone else. And it's just another little string to your bow. If you'd like to have a go, not always, it doesn't always come out right. But is there a right or wrong way? As long as you've enjoyed the process and you're happy with what you've done, at the end of the day, it's a piece of card. If you've got a spare hour just to relax, you haven't got to rush. And as you can see, I'm not putting that much ink down at all out of that pen. We've usually all got some kind of watercolour medium. And this is just one pen creating the different tones of that yellow. I'm turning the work all the time. Just to make it easier for myself. And you can tell how quickly that comes together. If you find you don't like a particular colour, you can just put some clear water on top, dab it with some paper towel, and it'll take some of the colouring out. This is nice just to sit, relax, lose yourself in it. And as you know, crafting is a great stress buster. Giving your mind something else to think about while you're colouring. Remembering each time I dip my paintbrush into the water, I dab it onto the sponge before going back to the cardstock. Just choose an image. If you've not done it before and you want to have a try, just choose a stamped image that isn't too intricate. It'll boost your confidence. Once you get used to doing it, you can try a little bit harder one. And I'm sure the recipient who receives your card thinks you've absolutely spent hours and hours working on it, where in reality it might have only have taken you 3/4 of an hour to an hour. I've changed to a smaller brush on this piece. blending these colours together. And just keep working it in. And if you don't get the colour that you are looking for, you can keep adding more if you'd like to. At this minute, I'm just trying to take a little off of that pen nib. Going back in straight onto the card. And don't forget, it will dry lighter. So I've got these other flowers on this bouquet, and I've decided I'm going to do this orange, but it blends out into a lovely peach. Again, turning the work. Going on to the other flower. And this is just the fourth colour that I've used. Just 4 different pens up to now. And then on to the last flower. As you can see, it's not hard. So it's just these centres. Now I do put this colour down and realising I didn't need to put that one down. So I've changed the colour up and worked it in. I'm going to let that dry and see how it takes. So pop in this little deeper yellow into the centres. And blending through. So I've got a green and I'm just using one green to do all the leaves. Just through those veins and one side. Doing this technique, as you can see, makes me feel like I can draw. And honestly, I cannot draw whatsoever. So the technique makes you look better than you really are. Well, certainly for me anyway. I hope while you're watching this, you're thinking you've got something that you can use and you'd like to try it. Let me know. Let me know how you get on. So it's just this cluster of leaves left to do, and that's all the painting done. Thank you for all my new subscribers. Thank you for the encouragement to keep me going with these tutorials. I'm glad you're liking them. Anyone that is watching, and I know that I do get watched by a lot of people that haven't still subscribed. The subscription is totally free. Please subscribe. It's going to help my channel. I'm trying to build it up for you. Oh, this is the last leaf. So I've just got a pen just to do those stems. And that's done. Just giving it a blot. Now I've got some dies, and these are Daisy May's Arched Torn Edge. And I'm going to cut that out to have that as my topper. And I've cut the next one in the set with craft card to mount it on. I've cut a die cut to put a sentiment on. And this sentiment says, "You are blooming gorgeous." Only lightly pressing with that sentiment. And I think those colours go together beautifully. So I've got a base card. And I'm just thinking, how am I going to pop it on? So getting some glue, putting the craft card straight down, putting my image onto some foam tape, so taking that backing off, and popping that down. I'm going to pop tape on that sentiment as well. But on the part that I'm going to have hanging off, I'm going to stack it twice with the foam tape so that it'll be the same level, because it's going to drop onto the craft card. So that's my finished card. I hope you've liked it. I hope you have a go. And thank you so much for watching.